a massive creature resembling a prehistoric being emerging from the fog, amidst the sunlight cutting through the morning mist like a sword. Robert sat by the campfire, watching the steam from his coffee drift in the cold air, when a sound shattered the silence. It was a woman's desperate cry, pleading for a living being to slow down. Then he saw him, a 225-pound dog king, with fur the color of desert sand and eyes harboring 1,000 years of solitude. He was like a living empire. Robert did not just see a dog, he witnessed a miracle of nature that should not have been wandering those woods. As the woman approached, she shouted, "Have you ever seen a Kangal?" her hand disappearing into the animal's thick, lion-like mane. Yet beneath this breathtaking power lay an ancient secret, dark enough to freeze any animal lover's blood. This 225-pound giant had not just been abandoned, they had completely erased his existence from this world. The woman sat near the embers, her eyes reflecting a mixture of exhaustion and deep affection for Baron at her side. She began to weave a tale of betrayal that felt like a knife to Robert's heart, explaining that Baron wasn't a stray, but a noble guardian from the peaks of Turkey. Dropping her voice to a bitter whisper, she said, "A wealthy family brought him here. Their young son saw a picture of a Kangal and demanded one. They had the power to move mountains, so they flew him across the world like a piece of furniture." She described how the boy would parade the pup around like a trophy, but as the puppy grew into a massive sentinel, the interest faded. The moment he wasn't a cute accessory anymore, they treated him like a burden, she continued. They didn't just walk away, they moved to a new city and left him chained in an empty yard. No food, no water, just the cold silence of a house that used to be full of life. With her eyes filling with tears, she looked at Robert. "I've been trying to keep him fed, but look at him. He's a king who needs a kingdom, and I'm just a woman with a small garden and a shrinking bank account. Every day I tell him to hold on just a little longer, but I can feel his spirit breaking. He needs more than I can give." Robert looked at the vast lands, then at the broken soul beneath the coat, and if these heartwarming rescue stories touch your soul, please subscribe. Your support means everything. Hit that subscribe button right now. You won't regret it. Now back to what happened next. Robert spoke softly, offering Baron a place on his farm as an alpha protector, but his voice carried a hint of fear. "Can I truly handle a beast this large? Will he see my flock as his own or as prey?" he asked. The woman reached out, burying her fingers in Baron's thick fur, and laughed gently. "He is the soul of the mountains. He won't hurt a fly unless they threaten what he loves. You don't need to be afraid of him. You must trust him." Their first stop was the veterinarian, a visit that would reveal the true depth of the previous owner's hatred. Robert wanted to find the chip to officially adopt the giant and perhaps give the former owners a piece of his mind. However, as the vet ran the scanner over Baron's massive neck, the silence in the room grew heavy and suffocating. There was no beep. The vet's face turned pale as he examined a small, jagged scar where the chip should have been. They hadn't just left him, they had surgically removed his identification so that he could never be traced back to their doorstep. He was a ghost. Robert's heart tightened, and his resolve hardened into steel as he officially gave him the name Baron, a title for a king who had lost his throne. When they reached the farm, Robert opened the gate, expecting the dog to cower in fear or huddle by his side. Instead, the 225-pound Kangal ran off and vanished. For days, Baron became the phantom of the hills. He didn't bark, he didn't play, he silently explored miles of territory with his massive paws, as if reclaiming a forgotten kingdom. Robert only saw him at twilight, in the moments when the 225-pound shadow returned for a bowl of food, scanning the horizon with his eyes before disappearing back into the darkness. But then, something happened that changed everything. The flocks were under threat, and the presence of a predator in the forest was felt across the farm. One night, the air filled with a sound that did not belong to a normal dog. It was a primal, earth-shaking roar that vibrated the very floorboards of Robert's house. Baron wasn't just exploring, he was preparing for war. The transformation was flawless. Baron stepped into his role not as a pet, but as a soldier. He began to lead the flock with a silent and intimidating authority that even the oldest rams respected. Moving like lightning across the vast terrain, the 225-pound sentinel became a living shield. Robert watched him from a distance, mesmerized by the dog's silhouette etched against the setting sun on the highest ridge, like a monument of resilience. Occasionally, Baron would join Robert on his camping trips, lying by the fire just as he had on that very first day. Robert would reach out in hope of a moment of physical affection, but Baron would always shift just a few inches away. He was not a lapdog. He was a warrior who had survived the ultimate betrayal. At that moment, Robert realized that love didn't need a hug or a belly rub. Love was Baron waiting for him at the edge of the property as a massive shadow guarding the gate. It was the 225-pound protector positioning himself between Robert and the unknown shadows of the forest, scanning for any hidden threat with his eyes. His loyalty was a silent vow written in every step he took beside his new master. They were two souls who found peace in the silence between them, respecting the boundaries of a spirit that had been pushed too far. Baron had traveled thousands of miles, crossing oceans and continents, just to find a man who understood that a broken heart doesn't always need to be fixed. Sometimes it just needs a place to be free. Baron remained a legend in the valley, and the alpha of the ranch, a dog who refused to be broken by the people who tried to erase him. If this story touched your heart and you are still not subscribed, please don't wait any longer. Hit the subscribe button. What would you do if you found out a dog's chip had been intentionally removed? Tell me in the comments below. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. It helps more people find these incredible stories.